Okay. Hey, good afternoon, 15:06. I got two notes here. I got my slides, and I got some other notes that I put on my phone. So I have to start with saying thank yous. So thanks, Rob, for having me. NolaCon wouldn't happen with all the staff, so thank you, staff, for being here and all the work that goes on behind the scenes. It is an honor for me to be here. So last week I was actually at Cyber Shield. It's a National Guard cyber exercise. I'm in the National Guard, the Louisiana National Guard. Yeah, baby. And so I was wearing the uniform last week and with a bunch of fit Army people, like real good, young, in shape, strapping young bucks. And so I feel a lot more comfortable with you guys here. So thank you. Thank y'all for being here. I feel better. I just kind of want to know my audience a little bit. How many of you guys or gals are not from Louisiana? Anyone from out of state here? Oh, that's kind of good, kind of bad. The bad is you might not know what a Cajun is. I mean, my talk is about Cajun doctors. I'm going to teach to the lowest common denominator and assume you know nothing about Cajuns. A couple things to base level set about Cajuns. They like to drink a lot of alcohol. Another thing is, if you've heard of the New Orleans Saints and their little catchphrase, "Who dat?" That dat sound, the D-A-T, that's really how they talk down here. Dat is Cajun for that. They can't pronounce the THs. So dat, dim, and dare is that, them, and there. So the language is a barrier. I don't know if Cajuns really have much of a short temper. I think probably not. They just like to drink and party and have a good time, hunt and fish and all that stuff. So Cajun, I just put that slide in there, that word in there, the descriptive word, just because it's NolaCon. I had to make it something Cajun related. So really, you can eliminate that word and it really doesn't lose any meaning to this talk. Also, couple disclaimers. I submitted my talk back in September. Didn't think I would actually get selected. I was a last minute fill-in. So I was doing my slides this morning. So all the cool cat pics and funny slides, this is your only picture you're getting. That is it. But I know the talk in my head, so that's cool. All right. So what else I got? All right. So how many of you guys are interested in cybersecurity? Okay, a couple. Good. You're in the right spot for that, right? Okay, good. That makes this talk a little easier. How many of you have actually been to a doctor, a family practice doctor, or a dentist in the past year? People go to their doctors and dentists pretty regularly. Okay, cool. Good. I think I'm talking to the right crowd with this talk. Okay, nice. Moving on. Okay, jokes. You got to tell jokes to break the ice. I have a 16-year-old daughter. She hates my dad jokes. But dad jokes, that's kind of my thing. That's what I do. I'm a dad. So just two quick dad jokes. It's just going to relax me. Y'all go be easy on me. So one dad joke is, did you hear about the scarecrow who won an award? He was outstanding in his field. Okay, nice. Okay. All right. Here, and my final dad joke, just to kind of break the ice a little bit. When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Moving on. All right, I'm done with that. I feel comfortable now. I can relax. I got more than one person in here. All right. And here's a real disclaimer. This presentation represents my opinions and thoughts only and not that of my employers, plural. I work for two. I'm a civilian who works in the National Guard part-time. So my employers are, I'm an InfoSec manager at CenturyLink. I assigned to the headquarters in Monroe, Louisiana, but I work remotely from Lake Charles. It's southwest Louisiana. Monroe's northeast Louisiana. I make the drive a lot. It sucks, but whatever. So that's one of my jobs. And they said, you can say CenturyLink, just don't attribute any of this to us. I'm like, okay, cool. And the other thing is I'm an NCOIC, which is civilian code word for manager or supervisor, of the 159th Fighter Wing Cybersecurity Office. We are a unit in the Louisiana Air Force National Guard. I hope to retire later this summer after serving 20 effing years. And so NCOIC, that stands for non-commissioned officer in charge. So basically, commissioner. Hey, I'm not a commissioner. Got it. Anyway, so anything. This is all just amateur Josh doing stuff on his own. Nothing to do with the National Guard or CenturyLink. Who am I besides a dad to an amazing 16-year-old daughter? I've been in IT and InfoSec for 22 years. I have my Security Plus, my CEH, my CSSP, all that from my military side is kind of needed. As you guys may or may not know, in the federal government space, they need you to have all those certs. Clue, CPEs are important in a lot of industries, not just ours. How many of y'all knew that? Like, we're in IT, we're in InfoSec, we get our CSP, we got to maintain our continuous professional education. If you got tunnel vision and I always thought, oh, that's cool, that's a thing just for cyber. No, all kinds of professions have that requirement. I just learned that last year. You guys are going to hear about it. On the military side, so I did active duty Air Force for about 9 years, and I've done National Guard for the past 11. You guys aren't really from here. Most of the audience raised their hand that they're out of state. So let me tell you, these words, Alexandria, New Orleans, Fort Polk, Baton Rouge, those are like all like different parts of the state. Monroe, Northeast Louisiana, Lake Charles, Southwest Louisiana, Alexandria, right in the middle, Baton Rouge, kind of south middle, New Orleans, that's where you guys are. Half of the state is Cajun territory, and then the northern half, like above Alexandria and north, is like country redneck hick territory. So there's like really, the state is like really divided into two different areas. You got Cajun south and you got country redneck hick north. So, funny story. I met my baby mama when I was active duty Air Force. I was in Omaha, Nebraska, and the girl that moved into the dorms next to me, just beautiful blonde hair, just beautiful South Cajun Louisiana girl. And I'm homesick. I'm in Omaha, and she's from Lake Charles, which is Cajun territory, and I'm from Monroe, which is Yankee Louisiana territory. But I don't know it. I just know that I'm from Louisiana. I didn't know I was a country redneck hick. Because you don't know what you know until you move out, and then you're trying to date this Cajun girl, and she says, "Oh, you're a Yankee Louisianian." I was like, "I'm not a Yankee." She said, "No, Yankee Louisianian." So it is two different cultures. But my job in the National Guard and CenturyLink, I pretty much travel the state. So I love my state. I cover it a lot, just various roles here. So that's a little bit about me. Also, I founded NolaCon. So when I started CenturyLink 4 years ago, my director was like, he's out of Kansas City. He's like, hey, we started SET KC. It stands for Security Kansas City. It's like this monthly hacker security meetup. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I wish we had that in Monroe. And I looked on like meetup.com or whatever. No security meetups in Monroe. So I talked to Mark. My friend Mark's in the audience. Hey, Mark, thanks for being here, bud. Appreciate you. Talked to Mark. I was like, hey, we need something like that in Monroe. And so we started it. NolaCon, we've been meeting a monthly security meetup once a month for about 4 years. So that's another passion of mine, is just talking to people about security and technology. Objective. I'm hoping to help anyone here that has the time, skills, and desire to break into consultancy, private practice, whatever you want, of auditing, pen testing, assisting to make extra money maybe, to help doctors and dentists protect themselves and patient data. So that's kind of what this is about, is if you've ever thought about, hey, I want to fix what is broke, but I don't really know how to talk to them. I don't know how to get them to listen to me. Then that's kind of what we're going to touch on. I also want to help regular InfoSec professionals, like some of you guys, just who are patients. You got your patient records out there. The doctors and the dentists, they have your sensitive data. And if you've been like me, you've walked in and you're like, oh my God, why are you doing it that way? That is so wrong. You just left the database wide open with all my patient records. And so maybe you can help them stop doing that because it's a big deal. And also they need our help. They're professionals at what they do, but they don't know what we know. Just like I don't know about that rash down there. Oh well, they know that, but they don't know what we know. We know their rashes. I never thought of that one before until then, so I'm pretty proud of that one. Expectation management. I'm not a health insurance portability and accountability act expert, so I don't know HIPAA inside and out. So if you think I do, you might want to find the other. There's a child porn talk, I think, across the hall. I mean, seriously. I will not be offended. I'm not a professional pen tester, auditor, vulnerability assessment guy, compliance professional. Not what I do. I don't own my own private practice. I only volunteer as a passion, as a hobby to try to help people. And doctors need our help. They do. So they're people just like us. I'm only a cybersecurity professional with some experience talking to medical and dental professionals and want to share my experiences. I'm an amateur basically when it comes to that, but I've got some good war stories for you. Agenda, how I got my start. Why did I choose this topic? Like what do I experience to have? I got some what not to do, some failures when I told the doctors their baby was ugly. In Monroe, Lake Charles, what I did wrong, why it was wrong. You know, I had the right intention, the right heart, the right motive, but my delivery I think was okay. It was the timing. But why did I do what I did wrong? And how to get doctors and dentists to take us seriously when we talk to them about how ugly their baby is. So how did this start with me? So I have InfoSec as a career, been doing IT and InfoSec for 20 years. I go to a doctor. I see all the bad things they do. I was playing basketball I didn't know the guy, young kid, looked barely old enough to be out of college, but he owns his own dental practice. I'm like, cool. Good for you, man. And so we're playing basketball together. And he knows what I do cybersecurity wise. I know what he does dental, but he also does dental, but he's kind of got like what's it called when you have a major in one thing and you got something else in another with minor. It's like got a minor in cybersecurity. So we synced up, we hit it off. And then small world, I do cybersecurity for the National Guard 1 week in a month in New Orleans. So I'm going to get my teeth checked by my military dentist. And I was making small talk with this dentist guy, and he's like, oh, yeah, I own my own practice in Lake Charles. I'm like, I live in Lake Charles. I know it's a small state, but still, when your dentist in New Orleans is also from Lake Charles, it's just weird. I was like, cool. His dental practice is like a block or like a mile from my house. So we made friends. He knew the guy I played basketball with. So they were dentist friends, and so they started talking to me about their needs. What do they need? They knew what I do. They're like, oh my God, we got hit with ransomware. I was at this talk and this dentist got hit with ransomware and they're scared poopless. So what do we do? How do we help them? So they invited me to give a talk, and next thing I know, I'm realizing that's the way in. That's the way to get them to listen to you. All right. So story time, my failures. So I go to this podiatrist. That's what a foot doctor is, I think. So I go see this foot doctor. And I'm like, hey, what's this rash here? But while I'm waiting to tell her about my foot situation, I'm in the waiting room, or no, you wait in the waiting room and then they put you in the little room with the bed and the chair, whatever that room's called, the patient room. Literally, I'm looking at the clock, 30 minutes with this Windows workstation wide open. I'm looking at all the patient records on it. Luckily, it's just mine. I wanted to click around so bad, but my ethics got in the way. I'm like, no, that's unethical, Josh. Don't do it. And all their USB ports are wide open. I'm pretty sure I could have done whatever I needed to do USB wise. So I'm looking at that, and time's first of all, I'm mad because they're taking so long. Second of all, I'm mad because what if anybody else could just go in there and grab all that? So I let her do her doctor thing on me, and after we're done, I'm like, hey, ma'am, I'm in the military. I have a top secret clearance. You can trust me, but what you did was wrong here because I could have done this, this, and this, and you should have done that, and I don't want any money from you. I'm not trying to sell you a service. I just want to help you. And she didn't like the message I had. She said, "Oh yeah, talk to IT." I embarrassed her, I'm pretty sure, on accident. I told her baby's ugly. So I didn't get anywhere with that. She blew me off. She told me to talk to IT. It didn't work. So for all I know, they leave people still to this day. That was over a year ago. They probably just leave their Windows workstations wide open with all the patient records, left unattended with an unknown patient for at least 30 minutes. So that's the foot doctor. I was helping my daughter in Lake Charles to go in the doctor's office. I don't remember what they did. It's a very similar story. This time I got a little bit further. This time, at least the doctor was like, "Oh, that's good to know, but we outsource our IT and we want to fire them. Can you help me, figure that out?" So I go, they refer me to somebody who, it just goes nowhere though. But at least that guy was initially like, "Okay, I want to fire them, but how do you, help me get them fired because it's bad." But still, I didn't get anywhere. So those, and I'm sure anybody got a story like that? Nod your head, raise your hand. Anybody? Go. Okay, I got one hand raised. Thank you. I'm not alone. So why my approach was wrong? That's their livelihood. That's how they make their money. That's their bread and butter. And I'm a patient and I'm a threat to them. I'm telling them their baby is ugly. I'm telling them what they did wrong on their turf. I didn't mean it on purpose. I had good intentions, but it got nowhere. Anybody else can think of any other reason? That's the only thing I can think of. There has to be that. All right. So talking about continuous professional education credits. So we do it. We know what we do in IT and security, but so do doctors and dentists. They need continuous education credits. They have to maintain their licenses. I put here Louisiana doctors need to have 20 credits a year. I know that because I have another friend who's a foot doctor, and he told me that last night. I was like, "Hey, what's that accrediting body?" It's called the Louisiana Board of Medical Examiners. It's a real thing. So in Louisiana, if you wanted to give a talk to doctors on continuous education, on cybersecurity to help them understand the importance, a doctor can't just listen to you and then turn that in. It's got to get accredited through this Louisiana Board of Medical Examiners. Other states have probably the same or similar thing. So that's how you got to get them to listen to you, is you got to make them think they're getting credits for it. Dentists participate in a regional district dental association, Louisiana State Dental Association, and American Dental Association club. That dentists need their continuous professional education credits as well. That one dentist basketball friend of mine, he taught me, they asked me, "Hey, we need CEs." We have a bunch of dentists meet up once a month to get their CEs, and we would love for you to talk. They need you. We had a ransomware attack in our group and they don't know what to do. Can you help us? So I go to this, I think they meet quarterly, and they just want to drink and get some free CE or cheap, easy CEs for their dental license. They normally talk about first aid or CPR or the new dental technique of the year. And my friends told me after my talk, I got up there and I talked for 30 minutes, and there was this beautiful dentist in the back. She was laughing at all my jokes. I'll never forget her. Anyway, so after my talk was over, this beautiful dentist lady, she comes up to me. She's like, "I just want to meet you. Your talk was so awesome. You were so funny." I said, "Thank you. You should come to all my talks and be my hype man. I love you." But my other two friends, the basketball friend and the New Orleans National Guard dentist friend, they both said, "Josh, your talk was so engaging. I've never seen these dentists care so much and ask so many questions." Now, I did kind of offend this one dentist lady, though. She was in the back, and she was asking a question about malware or something. I don't remember. She raised her hand and said, "Can I ask a question?" I said, "No, you've already met your quota of questions, ma'am." Like, real serious. She didn't like that. But other than that joke, the rest of the jokes are pretty good. But those dentists, they needed that. They thrived on that. They loved it. They were drinking. It was casual. I wasn't at their place of employment telling them how ugly their baby was. I was in their environment with drinks, with booze, with alcohol, in a relaxing atmosphere, telling them all the threats, and then telling them how I can help them. without trying to sell them something or making them feel uneasy. And that, you can leave now. That's the end. That's like the meat and potato. That's what this is about. That's my advice to you. If you really want to get them to listen to you, get them in that environment and tell them how ugly their baby is and what you can do to help them. So yeah, that's how you tell them and you don't die. How to tell the Cajun doctor and live. You tell them why they drink. Cajuns love to drink. I'm sure most dental professionals and medical professionals probably enjoy that, like we all do. Yeah, they do have a lot of pride and ego. I think that's another thing I need to touch on. If you're talking to a medical professional, they went to school for 100 years and they got all these student loans they got to pay off, they're afraid that you're trying to sell them this service and you can't live up to it. And with their ego and you telling them they did something wrong, it's kind of like in the military. You're in the military, sir? Are you a pilot by chance? Okay, good. It's like the pilots. They have such a huge ego, and if you deflate them any, it's just not going to go well. You're going to put them in the defensive right away. So what I did at that talk, I was like, hey, I just want to help you. I'm not trying to make money off of you. Let me come talk to you. Your staff has poor cybersecurity hygiene. They're clicking malware link. They don't know how to hover. Hovering over link is like the easy thing. Just hover over it, see where it's going. Like, offer to give them a 30-minute lunch and learn. Hey, let me talk to your staff. Let me teach them these things. And then eventually you're going to do such a good job and they're going to see the value and they're going to trust you. You're going to build that trust and that rapport and they're going to want to listen to you and they're going to call you. So after my little talk with that the Southwest Association dental chapter, like not even another day later, I had this dentist. I had my dentist, New Orleans dentist friend call me and say, hey, I got a dental guy. He fell for, you guys heard of the tech support scam, the Microsoft tech support scam, where you think Microsoft is calling you, hey, you've got this malware, please, scareware. So this dentist fell for that. And he like gave up the creds, he gave up the credit, he gave up the credit card information. Like he bought it all hook, line, and sinker, and then eventually caught on to his mistake. And he missed my talk the previous week. But he heard about it because those dentists all talk to one another. And he was like, hey, can you give me Josh's contact info? So I go help this guy. He was so scared to death. He knew he was like brand new to the dental practice. His boss was like the senior old guy who's about to retire. And he thought he just ruined everything. And he was like, oh, he was shaking when he was talking to me. When I saw that, I'm like, oh my God, they need us. In my call for paper kind of outline, I mentioned having a servant's heart. I really think this is like a community service project. If every single person in this room could go do that, just give a talk for a CPE to get in front of the dentist and then help them or help the doctor. That's kind of like, lawyers, they do stuff pro bono. I feel like we as security practitioners, we can go do that. We can help because you benefit by, building up your skill sets. You're going to learn something. This poor guy, he thought I knew everything about credit monitoring and credit this and credit that and FICO scores. And I'm like, dude, that you need to call your bank about canceling your credit card. But that's something you guys need to be aware of is if y'all go out on site, they're going to have a lot of credit card questions and financial questions, especially if they fall for scareware type stuff like that. But I basically became like his financial advisor. Hey, do you know how to do a credit freeze? But still, they need that. And if we could all do that, I think that would be good. All right. So, here's an example of this lady. Her name is, first of all, there is a Texas Medical Association. So we talked about Louisiana, they got to get approved. You got to be approved for the medical professionals to get credit for your talking to them. Well, there's an event right now today in San Antonio where all these Texas doctors, they're meeting right now and they're getting their continuous medical, CME, continuous medical education credits. So in order to get a credit in Texas, it's got to be approved and all these talks are approved. So I just Googled, I was doing some Google searching last night ahead of this talk and I found this talk. There's a lady named Kathy Bryant. I don't know her. I just found these slides publicly available. And so the doctors who are at this conference, they're going to listen to her talk. Kathy is not a cybersecurity professional. Now, her talk is pretty good. I read through her slides, pretty accurate. But a couple things I want to point out that I found wrong with her slides as to why a real cybersecurity expert should really be going and doing this. Have you heard of a network traveling worm? I don't think I've heard of that phrase. Anybody? Is that a thing? And I just never knew of it. Anybody? So, I want to see a network traveling worm. I mean, I think I know what she's trying to say, but that was kind of interesting. Also, if you look above network traveling worm, the slide is common types of cyber threats. So one of the interview questions I like to ask young cybersecurity professionals coming up is, hey, can you tell me the difference between a threat and a vulnerability and an exploit? Well, this title of this slide is cyber threats, and she's got unpatched software. Anybody have a problem with that? Yeah. So, but for the most part, like she had like 50 slides. They were all pretty good. This was the only slide I really had problems with. But really good. Those doctors in that room, if they can overlook those two little things, they're going to get a really good talk, and hopefully this will light up their eyes and see, oh, I really need to worry about this. But I'm pretty jealous of this Kathy lady because she's getting to tell these people, and they're probably going to look at her as the foremost authority and want to reach out to her. What if that was you? What if, that's probably, if you're trying to start your own business, there's a huge need for it, and there's an easy way to do it right here. I'm showing you. I don't have the time to do it between my two jobs, but maybe y'all do. Pros and cons, benefits of doing it without pay. That you might be thinking, but Josh, why do I want to do this without pay? Dude, why is that doctor charging me $50 an hour to look at my rash on my foot? No, $150, $200, whatever their prices are. But you want me to give them cybersecurity consultation for free? Yeah, I do. I think that would be good. Why don't you go do it? Because you're giving back to your community. Also, you think of doctors as rich, like they're rich. Think about how many student loans they pay. They got to pay all their staff. They're not as rich as you probably think. Especially if you do a salary survey for state of Louisiana, top paying jobs. I always get wow, I'm not doing so bad. The average income is $40,000 or something in doctors. Now, we're not talking anesthesiologists. I think those guys and gals make a lot, but anyway, you'd be surprised. They're not as rich as you probably think. They still need your help. They're still humans, and they got your records. So, if you do it for free, when I negotiated with that guy, I was like, look, you fell for this exploit. This Microsoft's not going to call you and try to help you. Microsoft is too big. They can't do that. But you fell for it. You gave me a credit card. I will help you. I'll help run Malwarebytes. I'll do forensics on your computer. I'll help you. I'll teach you. I don't mind doing all that for free because I want to help you. Also, I'm a little bit lazy. I don't want to set up an LLC. I don't want to be liability for their stuff. If I exchange money, then I probably got to do some things. I probably got to deduct taxes for, that's another reason you might want to do it for free. To not have to deal with all that stuff while you're getting this valuable experience to launch your own cybersecurity consulting business and then work for yourself and not the man. Also, if you get in front of those people, the doctors and the dentists on their turf while they're drinking, it'll help you with your public speaking. And you might have some sexy dentist lady tell you how great you are. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Well, also too, just about all of these folks, ISC Squared and that, you do these kind of talks, you get CPEs.
Well, look at that. You get CPEs by helping other professionals get their CPEs. That's like win-win is what I call that. Double win. Triple win. Nice. Good point. Thank you, sir. I didn't even think of that. Luckily, the military sends me to these conferences, so I get on my CPEs. I don't even think of that, but great point. Thank you. So disadvantages of free work, time consuming if you have a family, baby mama drama, who knows what you got. My job is stressful, and my other job is trying to make me do stressful job while on top of doing the other stressful job. I'm like, hey, I'm already stressed out. And then I don't want my phone blowing up for these local dentists saying, hey man, I just clicked this fake virus malware exploit. Microsoft said I was hacked. Can you help me? Okay, sure, I can. Thanks, Mom. Isn't that what moms do, right? Dude, my mom called me and said the FBI just emailed me. Said they're going to arrest me if I don't write back. Is that real? Mom, really? FBI is going to, if they know where you are, they'll just come get you. Like, they don't just email warn you. Moms. I think that's it, y'all. I'm done. So, any questions? Nope. Clap. Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you can't hear in the back, she's saying this applies to all careers, all industries. If you got a connection inside to get to their CPs or to help them out, absolutely help. That's a great point. I agree. That's kind of what Foot saw. Like, IT is not the only industry that needs CPEs. Medical, financial, I'm sure. Any industry. Great point. Arts, they need CPEs too. Well, there you go. Agreed. So just find a way. I guess the meat and potatoes is find a way in a non-threatening way outside of their place of employment where they don't feel like they're going to go to jail to tell them the bad news. Thank you. Anything else? Oh, clap. You can clap. Go ahead. Start it. Yeah, baby. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.